Alright, so this is my book review of Demian by Hermann Hesse, and I just want to let you know beforehand that this does have a book cover. I just covered it. I covered the cover. Alright, let's get started. Alright, so the year of publication for this book was in 1919. I mean, the one that I read actually was copyrighted in 2008, and you'll probably end up reading a newer edition as well, accidentally, just like me, but I mean, you get the same stuff. It's the same type of book. It's more of an existential novel. It talks about a lot of things that people don't usually want to think about. Alright, so the main settings of the book are based in, the first lines of the book, it's based in two different worlds. It's based, in the purities of his home, his family, the church, everything good, and then there's the bad world. Actually, I can quote what the bad side is. The bad side is more like slaughterhouse and jails, drunks and bickering women, cows giving birth, horses collapsing, stories of burglars, killings, and suicides. All those things. That's the bad world. Okay? Things of the book are in Sinclair's mind. Like, that itself is just this whole entire setting, because he narrates the whole book from his point of view of, an older perspective. He's reflecting back on his life. A lot of the setting is also at his church. He goes to a church school, alright? And it's all based there as well. In his house, just in the village in general, they live in a small village. It's based in the early 1900s. Well, some interesting facts about the author, Hermann Hesse. He often, found himself in lots of conflict with the authority figures. He was just always in trouble. For example, his first real act of rebellion was when he was 15, he ran away from the seminary, and he later that year attempted suicide, although that part isn't rebellious, but it's something that he did, and his parents ended up putting him in a mental institution, and then when he got out, he began or continued drinking and smoking. I'll tell you that because the book is very similar to his life. Fun facts, very sad facts actually. So a basic summary of this book without any major spoilers would be, it's about a man named Emil Sinclair. He's looking back on his life, and he starts when he was 10 years old. He talks about two worlds. He talks about this good world and a bad world. He meets this dude named Cromer, alright? And he's around the time Sinclair's 10, and Cromer's 13. He ends up hanging out with this dude and two other of his friends, and he feels the need to impress them. This is kind of where his life goes, spiraling downhill. It starts because he tells a story about how he stole a sack full of apples at night. It starts, and I can quote, "My story was that in an orchard near Corner Mill, along with a friend, I had stolen a sack full of apples at night. Not just ordinary apples, but exclusively ryenuts and golden pearmins, the best varieties." He gets caught in a lie, and he gets blackmailed by Cromer for something he didn't actually do, but he can't tell his parents the truth, that he lied because he made an oath on the Bible, and now he's suddenly Cromer's slave. See, they live in a very small village, and whenever Sinclair becomes Cromer's slave, he tells Sinclair that he'll just whistle for him. And that leads to Sinclair running around doing stupid stuff for Cromer, just hopping around on one foot and doing his work and his job. Even though Cromer does go away in the early point of the book, he still haunts Sinclair's dreams for a very long time, of Cromer just beating up Sinclair, and he can't do anything about it. Later along, Demian comes and rescues him, basically. He introduces himself, and really catches Demian's eye about Sinclair's house is that there's a coat of arms on his house, and it's been painted over several times, they're trying to block it out, but Demian sees it, and it has a sparrowhawk on it, and that has a huge role in the whole entire novel. They are extremely affected by this sparrowhawk, not only by the art that he does, but lots of his dreams as well. Lots of multicolored sparrowhawks, along with him burning the coat of arms and eating it as well. At one point in the novel, Demian moves away. Sinclair then goes through all these struggles because Demian has left such a high influence on his mind, and all the things that he's told him, all the stories that gave him new points of view on life and made him question the religious authorities, all the stuff that he was raised to know was right was all of a sudden wrong. The rest of the novel really just shows him going through a lot of self-denial and not knowing what to do and going through a really hard life, and it's really good. How the book affected me? The book is so good. It just makes you think about things you don't really usually think about, things that people usually try to block out. Actually, I have a good quote for that part, which is my second favorite scene in the whole entire book. A good way to represent of how this book made me feel is this quote. "I see that you think more than you can express, but if that's the case, you must also know that you've never fully lived out your thoughts, and that isn't good. Only the thoughts that we live out have any value. You knew that your permissible world was only half the world, and you try to hide away the second half from yourself like the clergymen and the teachers do. You won't succeed. No one can do that once he's begun to think. Well, I finished this book in 3 days. It's so interesting. I love Herman Hesse's style of writing. He just goes so deep into everything. He has lots of philosophical thoughts. It's just a bunch of drabble. Like a bunch of drabble. I'm gonna be pretty truthful here. Whenever I picked up the book, I thought, oh wow, this is not gonna be that interesting. I thought like a book of this boy going his way through life. Oh, okay, he's just gonna talk about his life, whatever. But like, things get supernatural. It's crazy. I recommend it a lot. But again, I would not recommend it if you very strongly have beliefs into your religion. Specifically Christianity, because it's a Christian book. Then I would say this book probably isn't for you. It's not even like they say stuff like the Bible is fake or anything. It just puts a whole new perspective, honestly. For example, he talks about Cain at one point. Demian says that he thinks Cain might not be a bad guy. You know, Cain and Abel? Wow, that's a new perspective. The whole book is just a different point of view, and it's very interesting. And that's what I love about it so much. Alright, so I hope you found this somewhat useful, and this is the end of my book review of Demian by Herman Hesse.